wasn't, and had a complete transformation, and today he's just doing phenomenal 2.5 years later. I know it's warm in here, we have the AC on, and I don't know what the deal is, but we're trying to keep it down. Yeah, maybe some humidity. So my recovery was not as great as his. I released 30 pounds, I had hormone balance, my night flashes were gone, my crabbiness really balanced out very, very quickly. I don't know if anybody's experiencing that. Your mood swings, you're not as crabby, and your husband's kind of like, whatever you're on, keep doing. And then Stephanie, really kind of get your story.
Real quick, Jill told me, hey, I can help you drop 20 pounds. I'm like, okay.
And she lost 30.
Yeah, so, yeah, that's real quick
story, but she has 3 little beautiful baby boys, and she's juggling this entire empire that she's building, and these 3 little baby boys, and she's doing I don't even know how she does it. She's just a special lady, and I just applaud her for how she's sharing Isagenix every day, and the people's lives she's moving in. We just had a very special day with her yesterday down at our corporate headquarters, I heard, and congratulations on that. And so anyway, moving on to our amazing panel. So everybody up here is means I have they've touched my life in a very powerful way on one level or another. She trains with me every day, Kathy Clover. She's an amazing rock star. She's an athlete. She's competed in fitness competitions for a long, long time, and she's just an amazing to see her in the gym. She can go 4, 5, 6 hours straight without missing a beat. Literally. I mean, she goes from class to class to class to class all over the valley, and I'll let her tell you about her transformation, but literally she trains here every single day, and she comes in here after training and just knocks it out of the park. And a lot of that has to do with the products that she's on. She's just passionate about Isagenix as well, and she's probably taken everything out there over the years, and she's finally stuck on Isagenix. And you want to talk about Sarah for a minute?
Let me have you talk about Sarah. Sorry.
All right. I'm going to talk about Sarah. This is amazing, Sarah. And Sarah will probably cry today, so bear with her because we cried. Her story is unbelievable. She's been on Isagenix since
August 1st.
August 1st, guys. Since 6 months. And she's had a life-changing experience. She was literally ready to give up. She was ready to give up. I'm so glad you did. She is amazing, and she's overcome, wanting to die, and she's on fire for life. She's can hold her baby now, and her little girl's here, hi baby, and she just can't say enough about Isagenix. So I'm going to let her tell her story. Then we have amazing
Angie roller coaster.
If you don't know who Angie is, she's on the wall over there.
So Angie, she's going to tell her story, has tried everything, been there, done that, and when I introduced this to her, which I've introduced a few things to her, we've known each other for several years, and she's like, okay, I'll try it, and there's some really high-powered stuff that we've had you do, but nothing worked really, and then at some point, I'm like, okay, this is what you're going to do, and she's like, yeah, after my son does this, and after this, and okay, I'll be ready in 2 weeks. And I'm like, oh, I'm kind of tired of that story. So one day, I'm like, okay, you're taking this home. I don't care about anything else, just take it home. And though she'll tell you, she stared at that box and stared at it and stared at it, and then finally decided to put it in. And 140 pounds in 8 months, from size 28 to a 2, no excess skin, just absolutely beautiful, and having fun the entire time. She did it a lot for many different reasons. The first reason was for her family. A lot of overweight family members, and her dad has actually just released 100 pounds in 5 months. Oh my gosh, 115 now. More importantly, Dad went from retiring in his recliner, about ready to, I have 1 to 2 more years left, and this is the way it's going to be, to mowing the lawn. He's going on a cruise with his wife and living again. So that's been very, very important, and sister and nieces and everybody else along the way. And then she got to a point where she's like, I just have to do this for everybody else. I need so many people out there to realize that if I can do this, they can do it. And so she just kept plugging along because there's so many people that need to know the story and need to know that they can do it. And they can do whatever goal it is. So she really did this for strangers, for people that you guys are meeting and for people that you're talking to. Use her story, because that was one of the main reasons. But at the same time, her family's having a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's the thing about Isagenix is that you want your family and friends on this stuff. I mean, everybody wants a healthy family. And so I've been very fortunate to share it with my nephew on the end. And he's just been on the product not that long, but he has played football at ASU. He was riddled with arthritis, gets up every morning feeling like dog do, and it's very painful for him to now live with the injuries and all the stuff that comes after football. And he's had phenomenal results as well. He's now training back in the gym 5 to 6 days a week, which he hadn't been training at all for many, many months. And he pretty much kind of was thinking, this is my life, and it sucks. And he is pretty blown away with his results. And I see him in here, which this week he was coming at the 9 and 10 o'clock class. He's here at 7 a.m. now. He has a newborn baby, and I'm like, holy cow, what's happening to you? So amazing things happen when you start putting these products in your body. And then moving on, Jamal Lewis, another superstar. When I met him, he had his head on the table, couldn't get his, he almost fell asleep while I was talking to him. Not because I'm boring, but
yeah, I know.
He had no energy, no life, no vitality, and he was just going through the motion and like, my life, this is life, really. He's 28. He's 28. He was eating 8 meals a day because his body was always searching for nutrition, to get some nutritional, food in his body, some value. And he was just like, his head, and he's just falling asleep, and he's holding his head up. I'm like, dude, let's get you a little bit of this in your water. And by the time we were done with our conversation, I think you had this in the shot, right? He was like, I think you called me or texted me or something. What was that stuff? Oh my gosh. And then he was back here the next day. He was like, give me more. What is that stuff? I'll let him share his story, but it's been, again, remarkable. He's been on the product for about 6 months now. You can't, if you know Jamal, you're friends with him on Facebook, we love him to death, and he can't stop sharing Isagenix, and he does it every single day. Like clockwork, there's a beautiful post of him with his products, and it's just like, yes! On fire. I mean, it's amazing. So we'll let Annette go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in with Jamal. What I love about Jamal and Brent as well is, they started really fit. They are elite athletes, models. They've got the body down. Where you look at them and you're like, why would you do Isagenix? But they're the perfect situation. And Jamal posted recently that he looked at an older picture before he started Isagenix, and then to a recent picture. And you saw the difference. We saw the difference. But you saw the difference in your definition and your thighs and your legs, and how everything really truly came to a perfect specimen. Let's
just say we don't find those pictures to be posted every single day on Facebook.
No, but you saw it because of that. So it is important to share with other people that are people that are very fit and that they are athletes, because it does make a difference for them and the way that they feel, but also the way that they look, because they work really, really hard to have that definition. Kathy and Brent, and they work hard at it, and then you can just add that extra. Like I had another boy, Jason, who 3% body fat. He's like, what is this going to do for me? I'm like, I don't know, let's find out. And he found out he got more definition. Perfect. So keep that in mind. It's good for everybody. So let's.
And then one of my favorites, long time, I've been training with.
First one?
What?
Was he one of your first?
No. Yes. Probably. And let me tell you a little bit about this man. We call him on Facebook Lee. You all know him by Lee, but his actual name is, those that know him, is Brent Shaw. And he's been a Phoenix detective, police, something really up there, all that, really fancy title name, undercover with the Phoenix Police Department for 20 years. Has been training with my husband for about that long. And he actually is another one. He's an elite athlete, triathlete, who competes in the Ironman. He just competed in the Ironman here in Phoenix last month. In February? November. I'm sorry. Boy, that went quick. I was going to tell you about that. And he's just, he knows product like no other. He is literally an elite triathlete. And again, you know, has tried everything, done it all, and his results and his testimony with the products has been remarkable. And now he pretty much does this. Shares the product a lot of the day now, a lot of the day. And again, he's on fire and he's had amazing results. So we're going to go ahead and start with questions. So I'm going to start with Kyle. How long have you been on the product, and what is your favorite product, and what do you like the best about it?
Yeah. So we started on the product basically right before Thanksgiving. So it's been you know 4.5 months so far. Tremendous results. I can say, you know, not only how much it's helped myself, but my wife and my baby as well through this whole thing. And when I tell my story, I don't know if I'm telling my story right now.
Yeah.
Right now?
Share away.
We want to start into it?
Absolutely. We're ready.
I thought we were going to go ladies first.
No.
I'll lead the way. Okay, so, yeah, so let's start over from the beginning. Okay, so I started playing competitive sports, started playing football at the age of 8. There was all these reasons in the beginning that my dad used to tell me that he didn't want me to play. He'd played in the NFL, he'd gone through it all. And with that, he had had every injury you could have, right? Like we're all learning in today's modern world now. I went full head down, went into it. I played here locally at Saguaro High School. I went on to play at ASU. I loved the gym. I lived in the gym. Jamal knows he was my roommate when we played together down there. And it was one of those situations where I was one of the strongest guys in there, and I used to push it to the limit. I used to be able to squat close to 700 pounds, bench over 400. But it was a point where I completely wore my body out. I hurt my tendons. The injuries just kept coming. There was a lot of instances where I was taken off the field actually because of stuff that happened that I created in the weight room on my own doing, pushing my body too hard. You know, because there is a point where overtraining is a huge thing. And it was just one of those things where I was really broken down. And now that I've stopped playing, you can imagine that was kind of a snowball effect. I mean, the arthritis, the tendonitis. I had 3 knee surgeries in college to fix tendonitis in my knees. You know, going into debriding tendon and all that kind of stuff. But basically, I felt like my body was in a position where, you know, what's the point of going to the gym? It hurts to go to the gym. I mean, how many of us suffer from that's one of the reasons we don't go to the gym, because it hurts, right? And so I was in that boat and have kind of been in that boat my whole life since I really got into the banging and pushing of football. I tried every kind of supplement. I took joint supplements. I've taken anti-inflammatories. I've done really everything you can do to try and heal all this stuff, and nothing's ever worked. I mean, I know, like many of us, we try the fat burners to lose the weight, and we try the certain stuff to lose the weight, and it just doesn't happen. Well, this was kind of the same thing for trying to find the aches and the pains to go away, and nothing really has worked. I mean, it's kind of a sad story because I am only 29 years old, and I felt like I was about 50 years old. And that's not how you're supposed to feel, you know. So it was always a sad deal. But I can say that Jill is my aunt, and I had known she had been in love with Isagenix for quite a while before we had ever actually jumped on the ship here. But just before Thanksgiving, I think one of the main catalysts for it was that Cassandra, my wife at the time, she was about 8 months pregnant. We had struggled the whole time for her to gain any weight. So she was struggling, and one of the problems with that was the baby was really small as well. The baby was measured in one of the low percentiles, and so between baby and mom, we were kind of at a hard point there. And so when Jill said, you know, why don't you try the supplements? You know, why don't you get on the product? Try the protein. It's going to help. Obviously, what mom's taking in, she's only going to be delivering to baby as well. And so at the same time, that's when I jumped on board too and started taking the protein and taking everything. Basically, I take the full 30-day system, everything from the product B. And multivitamins. I take the accelerator, and a lot of want more energy all the time, having a 2-month-old at home. But basically, the results were almost instant for Cassandra. You know, we noticed that she gained the healthy weight there right at the end. The baby kind of slowly towards when we were about to give birth there, had finally moved herself up in some of the higher percentiles of where she was supposed to be in terms of birth weight there. And obviously now you can tell she's 2.5 months old and she's flourishing. She was born 5'9", but she's already well over 11 pounds, and she's only 12 weeks old. So obviously what's going in mom is going in baby too. So as much as I like to tell my story, I like to tell her story too, because it's really been evident, big time. But I can say that as we go through some of the products, I think one of the things that I like the best is the Ionics. For me, Ionics, I definitely have high cortisol levels. I can tell I get stressed out real easy. That comes with training, that comes with the daily rigors of going to work every day and everything else. I notice that the Ionics is a huge, huge buffer for all the stress, all the kind of anxiety that you get in life. But that's a big thing for me. I truly have kind of blessed some of the transformation, how my body's starting to feel. I take the Ionics sometimes 3 times a day. I'll wake up and have it with my morning water, and then maybe with lunch, and then sometimes at dinner, just because it makes me feel that good. Been doing 2 months of the multivitamin and the product B. And this, for those of you guys who don't know, it's this right here. And I think that might have a huge impact on why my joints and my tendons and my body is starting to feel so good. Because I know that the product B is a miracle worker for all the small connective tissue and fiber that's throughout your body. You know, they say it's anti-aging, and if that's the case, it might be why I finally starting to feel like I'm 29 again. So that's a good thing. But you know, between my wife and I and everything that's going on here, it's been a powerful thing. We're so blessed to have. I mean, it's a short journey so far, but it's been.
How are your joints and your arthritis?
Yeah. No, I mean they're feeling great.
Tendinitis.
Yeah,
Tendinitis.
you know, there's days here obviously where you're going to struggle. I mean, there's stuff that's probably irreversible. You know, things that are in there in terms of scar tissue and whatnot. But overall, being able to push through stuff. I mean, I'm not the kind of guy that can go out here and run like 10 laps, and I still struggle to do that. Just sometimes. Let's get back into it. But you know, now I'm out here pushing through it all. So like I was saying, if you had to put it on a 1 to 10 scale before I started Isagenix, I was a 10 in terms of pain. I'm probably a 4 now. So that's big. It's really big.
You're the biggest one up there. How much do you eat throughout the day now versus what you did before?
I actually probably ate a lot more then. And I think a lot of that is because now you get so much nutrition in these shakes, your body's not craving. You know, you need to feed me, right? So a lot of times breakfast is a pro shake with some eggs. You know, and then for lunch I'll usually have a shake, and then we usually eat a good dinner. But I'll have a bar or a snack somewhere in between the middle of the day. So in terms of overall eating, it's gone way down.
So you're doing pretty much the program for the most part.
Exactly. I'm doing the full 30-day there.
And that's what I love about Isagenix is this is what we eat all day. This is our food. This is our health care. And for Jamal, who's eating 8 times a day. How many times a day? 9? Yeah. What do you do now? Like 4?
No, maybe like not even a real full meal. Just because right now I'm doing like 3 or 4 shakes a day. So I'm trying to eat more. And that protein is just so like a crazy.
Okay, from 9 meals a day to 4 shakes. Yeah. This is what's happened to this guy. Go ahead and finish that guy.
Yeah. No, I guess the last thing I'll finish with is I didn't really get on this to lose actual numbers on the scale. I know that when I started I weighed 308. You wouldn't think it, but I got big old legs and butt. But that's from all those years of squatting, I guess. But I know now. I'm somewhere now around like 290. So I mean that's 18 pounds, and I haven't been trying to lose the weight. It's just releasing itself as we go, which has obviously been a great thing. So with that, I know now I have a new goal. I'm trying to get down to the 250s, which I've been since I was in high school. So that's where we're going. So that'll be
okay, so I just want to ask you guys, I'm going to go through the line. What's your favorite product? Jamal.
Ionics for sure.
Say it loud.
Ionics.
Ionic. Why? Why?
It just gives me the mental focus that I need during the day, just to to keep it. Sometimes I think I have ADD. I can't hold still in one place. So the Ionics, it just really gives me the ability to focus.
Okay, so he has more clarity, vitality, and focus on Ionic Supreme. How many times a day do you take it?
Twice.
Twice a day.
Morning and night?
Morning and night.
Okay. Brent, what's your favorite product?
Probably protein.
Protein. Which
Isopro.
one?
Isopro, yeah. The blue.
Okay, why do you take this one as opposed to the other one?
It's just, from what I've taken and what I've researched on it, it's just the best protein out there that's available as far as your body being able to digest it, utilize it, and then obviously the way that I utilize it after workouts and that sort of thing.
What's been your biggest transformation? What have you seen different in your body?
Well, a lot of it is due to his inflammation issues. I had a lot of inflammation and a lot of, when I ran before training for the Ironman and everything else, I had real bad plantar fasciitis. And then when I started utilizing the system, I actually found that the plantar fasciitis went away, and I didn't even really recognize it had gone away. It's just one morning I woke up and stood up and walked to the restroom, and I was like, wow, my feet don't hurt. I didn't waddle over here like I normally do. So for me, that inflammation issue was a really big thing, and which kind of allowed me to train better and harder and more. So.
Okay, so I know there's a lot of people in here talking about different joint problems and arthritis problems and tendonitis. There's already 2 people right here on the panel. One of their biggest things, and here's one right here, is
2
you
days.
wake up one day and all of a sudden, that's right, Penny had arthritis, real bad in her fingers. You wake up one day and things are getting better. And it's some people it happens overnight, some people it's just a progress, and you don't even, one day you're like, oh my gosh, that's gone. Okay, what's your favorite product, Angie?
I only get to pick one.
Only one. So many. Okay, your favorite 2.
Okay, the Isagenix shake and the e-shots.
Okay. We're going to come back to that because she has a whole story on how she just released 140 pounds in 8 months, and I think that has a lot to do with it, those 2 products. Correct? Okay. Sarah, favorite product?
I guess I would have to pick the Ionics and e-shots.
Ionic. Okay, guys, across the board, Ionic is a standalone product. Standalone product, and for multiple reasons, and we can spend another whole panel just talking about Ionics and Breathe. Favorite product?
Ionic and Cleanse for Life.
Yeah, I do Cleanse for Life every single day, at least 1 scoop. I just love it that much. The base of that is the fillet of the aloe vera plant. Who doesn't love that fillet, aloe vera, right? So it's going into my body. I love that idea that it's going in my body every day.
Now, Kathy, how often do you cleanse with the Cleanse for Life? How much?
2 scoops every night.
2 scoops every night.
And you're a daily cleanse every night, daily? She's a daily cleanser. Okay, everybody
Sometimes
does
I'll
it
do more during the
differently.
day depending on what I did the night before, but I still do my shakes just because I work out.
Do you do deep cleanse days, or you're just doing 2 scoops every night?
I usually just do 2 every night, but it depends what I've been doing, where I'm at, if I have something to do.
She splurges.
But, since I do it daily and I stay on, everything's pretty regularly, I don't really need to do deep cleanses anymore, just because I can feel my body, listen to it.
She's strong.
I'm very nervous.
Okay, the one thing that's really neat about her, Kathy, is she's very, very shy. And this is one of the first times she's ever told her story in front of a group of people. And what I love is that she's getting this thing about it. I don't know what it is, how to convince, but we all get kind of confident. And we just feel like, you want me to talk? Sure, I'll talk. And I'm like, you're talking this weekend. She's like, okay. And, if I had asked her that 6 months ago, she would have turned purple and said, I'm out. I don't even know you. I'm not coming to this gym anymore. So she's getting her confidence, and she feels good. And she's got vitality going on. She comes here every day with a smile on her face. Like, she gets on that Jacob's ladder and she goes for an hour straight. And this is after she's already trained. She trains on that Jacob's ladder for an hour and then does another class somewhere a little bit now. So have you seen a difference in your recovery?
Oh, yeah.
In your recovery? Recovery? Brent, what happened after the Ironman? How long?
Well, my wife was remodeling the kitchen, so I only got 1 day of rest, and then I was back into that. So it's probably, I would say, probably about 3-4 days, and I was fine. So, and that's a lot. I mean, because I know a lot of people that'll tell you, it takes them like a month to recover from it.
So literally I'm going to have Sarah start chatting about her story really quick, but she's not an elite athlete, which is fine. Most of us aren't. But her story is completely on the opposite end of the spectrum from our athletes in the room. But her recovery is spectacular on a different level. So tell us about your journey, when you started, and where you are today, 6 months later.
Okay.
What's up?
I've been really sick since probably 2007. Bent over in excruciating pain, no rhyme or reason. To the hospital 5 to 8 times every year. Nothing's wrong with you. Finally, 2011, they discovered my supposed to be 2-inch appendix was actually 8 inches long, and it had cancer in it. So they removed it, and you think, oh great, everything's better. But it wasn't. I was still sick. Had another surgery, hysterectomy. Went into menopause, which was craptastic. Right, nobody hasn't got there yet. Live it up while you can. Had another surgery this year, had a intussuscepted bowel, had to have another surgery in May. And by May, June, I've been living in my pajamas for so long, I just figured this is the way it was. Felt like I was 60. easy. My friend Terry came over and said, I know you've been feeling terrible and you don't have any energy and you're sick. I really think this will help. I said, I'll do anything. She goes, well, I don't have this. She just started 10 days earlier, so she didn't know much about the product. So she's like, I don't know, I wish I had that, and I wish I had, and I go, okay, I'm not gonna wish I had anything. So give me the biggest thing they got. And I think I'm the only person in the world who signed up with the business builder just to do that.
She was desperate to change. She was desperate. I tell
Yeah.
people, don't wait to get desperate. Don't wait for that wake-up
Yeah,
call. But
for sure.
Wherever you found it, that's
For
great.
sure, I 110% had to give it everything I had and could give it. And I started August 1st, and there's been no looking back. I won't live without it, for sure. I'm pretty confident. Around Christmas, I had a couple days where I ate more food than I did my shakes, and I already could feel the difference. And I thought, I can't live without it.
How long did it take you to start feeling alive?
A day.
Okay.
A day.
A day.
A day. How long did it
was
take you before you
unreal.
felt alive again? Hope. Hope. Okay. So there doesn't, for me it was 4 days. So a day, because you know why? She was so depleted and so malnutrition, even though she was eating. And the same thing with Jamal. Would you say you were malnutrition?
Oh my goodness.
But he was eating 9 meals a day, guys. 9 meals a day.
I was like depleted.
But he was malnutrition. And it was how long before you felt like, besides the 1 hour?
Yeah, I had my wow moment like literally when I was walking out of here, and I was just kind of like literally felt like a second wind. And I was just like, what just happened?
Incredible.
How many meals do you eat now?
It's like I post those little pictures.
Yeah.
It's just like I cook like chicken and like I'm eating almonds now, but I just snack on stuff and then like I'll have a good dinner. But other than that, it's just like shake, my bars. I steered away from the bars a little bit because I was eating like a lot of them.
They're good.
Right, Irma? You're going to stay off those bars, right?
Jamal and Kyle, have you guys noticed your food bill go down?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So you kind of trade down in food dollars, up in food value greatly when you start on these products. We don't pay or endorse any athlete or anyone ever in Isagenix, which is what I love about this product and this company. We won't spend the money, and we don't want to buy our athletes to stand up and represent Isagenix. We just had Ray Lewis come out of the closet. After a year of buying our products retail online, secretly, he finally called Isagenix and he's like, I want to meet the owners of this company. I've been taking these products for a year, creeping on you guys, and so he came down to our corporate office and he said, this is by far the best stuff I've ever put into my body, and I really want to jump on board full steam ahead. And the athletes are just, they get the science, they are flocking, like Daryl in the back. They are flocking to Isagenix when they get the science, and they're smart. Athletes know their protein. They get it, and all they have to do is flip it over, and they're like, holy cow. So I want to go back to Sarah's story. So fast forward 6 months, what's your day look like? Because I know you were in your jammies for the longest time, and your day was like, this is my life really. And she had lost all hope for the most part.
Yeah, it was pretty sad. Now I just do my ionics, do my shake, and then I usually mix everything, the greens, the fruit, another ionics, mix everything in a shake, and then go to the gym, work out, come home, have another shake. Yeah, and have dinner.
So she's living a life of hope, and she
Your
feels
family.
fantastic.
Yeah, I do anything. We do everything,
Yeah.
go everywhere. Yeah, it's crazy.
Was that an option before?
No, I mean, I tried, I think I did okay, but definitely there were a lot of sad days that I couldn't even get out of bed. So.
Isn't she great, you guys? I love Sarah. Her story is phenomenal. Are you sick, tired, and fat?
Yeah. I think overall, before I say anything, I literally just, like, from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you. And Mr. Bowman is not here, but, like, those two, even you guys are in the extremely happy people. It's just been, like, completely life-changing. It really has. And my background is I used to basically just kind of be like you come like a GNC head. Like my whole cabinet they could have endorsed me with all the product that I had. You're probably the same way. But I came in here to do a shoot for Jill. And when I got done, you know, she was kind of saying, take this product, and I'm like, I don't want all this all natural stuff. Like, I was like real skeptical, because, you know, it's all
If you
natural.
guys haven't seen this is Jamal on fire. Here it is.
That was after one of Annie's workouts. That really so, you know, just talking with her, she literally, I was just so tired. I had to shoot before that, and it's just shoot. But I was still like, she said, I was just like hanging over, and I was like, oh my goodness, like I just want to go to sleep. So she gave me a little bit of drink, and like I could instantly, like it tasted good. I'm a big taste person, so I don't like just like bland
Can you
stuff.
talk a little louder for a second?
You guys hear me?
No.
No? So it tasted good. So I was like, okay, that's a bonus. And like I said, when I was walking out, it was just kind of like, oh wow, this stuff is really working. So I thought I was at where I was at physically already. So I wasn't taking it for that. I was like, okay, like this is giving me energy. I'm just going to keep doing it. So when I got the system, like, who said that? Someone said they weren't doing it necessarily to lose weight. I was just doing it for the energy. But I noticed, like, when I started taking it, I was getting, like, a little bit leaner. I was getting more vascular, which I like veins. I thought that was pretty cool. So I was like, okay, I'm going to keep doing this. That's a guy thing. But, anyways, so I just kept taking it, and before you knew it, I wasn't interested in the business. I was like, I got too much to do. I can't be selling this stuff. I'm not a salesperson at all. You know what I mean? But when I was telling Jill about it, she was like, well, it's just kind of like, you know, you tell your best friend to go watch a movie. Like, you need to go see that movie. And so the better and better I started feeling, I was more comfortable with just being like, yo.
And literally, he's sharing Isagenix just like that.
Yeah.
And what I love about that is you don't need to know all this stuff to be able to share Isagenix. And they want 3 things. Does it work?
Yeah.
I get it. And that's what he's doing. And he's doing it all day long usually.
And that's, the cool thing about that is, like, I've never been like a big research person. So like, I'm just like, give me something that works. If it works, I'll keep doing it. If not, next. Like, that's just how it was. So this stuff, like, I mean, it's got me, you know what I mean? Like, if I can't go a day without it. Like, I remember I did a while back, like, I went to do a shoot and I forgot to bring some stuff, and I was like, oh, like, I was freaking out, literally, like, what the heck?
Like the rest of us.
Like, it doesn't even make sense. Like, you don't think, like, it'll get to that point until, like, you do go a day without it, and you're like, oh, crap. But, yeah, then just recently, like, I was just going through some pictures, and I saw a picture that I used to think was just like the best picture I'd ever taken, and then there was another one where I didn't think it was that good, but I did a side by side, and I was like, what? Like, I just had no idea, and it wasn't like I didn't set out to even meet this goal. I just took it to feel the energy wise, you know what I mean? So the stuff, I mean, it's the truth. Like, I've done all different kind of proteins, the 100% whey, like all that stuff, and it's just.
How's your training now? Because he was an elite athlete as well in college. He played ball at ASU. Phenomenal athlete there while he was there. And now he trains, literally he can run and he can put his head through as he's jumping through that little square. It's like, do you feel like, I mean, I don't know if he's still going, but his plan was possibly to consider going back for a tryout in the NFL. Because he feels so fantastic, and we're trying to say, no, we don't want to be cousins. You're on the career, you're having fun, and everything's working, but, I mean, how's your training, and how do you feel when you're training? I know you just rock star in here.
Yeah, I mean, it's through the roof. It's on another level, and there's different kinds of training. Like when we were together, we trained with House, and obviously it was football training, it was a little bit of weight training, everything. With Andy, it's just like, I've literally been training with him for 5-6 months. And every workout I come to, like, you might do a little piece that's the same, but every workout I'm like, help, you know what I mean? But it's like I can still get through it. Like, even when I thought I was in the best shape of my life over, like, one of the summers we were training, there's no comparison. So, like, when I get done with these workouts, it's like, thank you, Jesus, for getting me through that one.
And what about recovery?
But, yeah, I mean, the recovery as soon as I walk out the door, I'm like, okay, I can come back down and do it again.
Yeah.
So,
And Brad's been training with us for 20 years. How's your recovery after working out?
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't worry, because it ain't gonna change.
Don't get what?
I said, don't worry, it won't change. You'll still be going,
Andy
help! So, No, I mean, it's fantastic. I mean, like I said, I started because literally, and I remember the day I was literally doing sit-ups in Andy's class, and he said, hey, you need to give it Jill, start taking this stuff. I'm like, oh. I mean, that was literally, because I mean, that's my relationship with Andy. If he tells me, you're doing something, I'm like, oh, okay. You know, I kill myself to make it happen. But he told me to take it, so I started using it, and Jill laughs because on the business side of it, you know, I was using it for almost a year before I ever even told anybody I was using it. Because I was just using it, you know, I mean, it was just what I was supposed to be using. Andy said take it, I was taking it. You know, I felt better, everything was going well. At the time I was retiring from the police department, so I left the police, I retired after almost 21 years, and then I got into triathlon and started doing the triathlon thing. And I was like, well, this stuff works pretty well for triathlon, so I started using more and more of it. So what he's talking about, you know, the amount of consumption, my wife can vouch for it. I mean, I was like, you know, I mean, 4 was probably minimum, 4 or 5 shakes a day, plus at least 2 to 3 regular meals a day. You know, probably in the 5,000–6,000 calorie program, but it was literally the majority of the calorie intake was from the product. So I was losing, and I was still losing weight, using that amount of, you know, bringing in that amount of calories. And so I used the product for that purpose of training for and doing that event, because I'd done triathlon for probably about 3 years, you know, smaller distance, shorter distance. And then I did the Ironman with this product and actually used it during the event. And it's just, like you said, you know, I mean, I've used a ton of different products throughout, you know, all of my fitness journey of my whole life. And I've never stayed with anything. I mean, there's nothing that I've stayed with. I don't care if it's doctor prescribed or GNC prescribed or whatever, I just never stayed with anything. And I've been with this stuff now. I've been using this product seriously for coming up on 3 years. So, you know, 2.5 years, and I travel out of the country on occasion, and so when I do that, and sometimes I don't get to use the product like I want to, and it really does make a difference, and you really do get that whole craving experience. And you can't, when you try to tell people you're going to crave these shakes or you're going to do this, they look at you like you're nuts, you know. But it really is true, and you know it's true. And sometimes I tell people my story, what I'm telling is, you know, if I told you everything that I've found that's changed about my life from using this product, you'd think I'm selling you snake oil of some sort. But the reality is that it really will change these things, and you really will feel this difference. So that's been my, you know, and I've used the products for all different sorts of things. So.
You know, where can you go, you guys, to find a product that you're curious about or you're not sure about? You can come to a place like this, and you can see real people with real results on every level. Every level. If you have lost 5 pounds, stand up. Oh my God. If you've lost, sit down. If you've lost 10 pounds, stand up. Sit down. Okay. Keep standing. If you've lost 15 pounds, stand up. If you've lost 20 pounds, stand up. If you've lost 50 pounds, stand up. If you've lost 60 pounds, stand up. 80, 90, 100, 110, 130. Okay, guys, I've only been doing this crowd for a couple of years. These people have been on this for less than a year. 140, 150. Of this extremely happy people, and Angie, of course, she's still on a mission, and she is not slowing down. Really quick, how long have you been on the products? April. April. How do you feel, Ruby?
May.
Okay, we're going to have another panel where we're going to have just Angie and Ruby chatting soon, so watch out for that. Okay. Weight gain. Okay, we're going to have a gain weight. Yeah. So we'd like to shift gears really now, and we'd like to start moving into this very, very special story. And I'm going to let you talk about it. Sorry, I know she means so much to you and all of us, but... Everybody wants to know, how did you do it?
So you heard a little bit about how she was reluctant, she's done everything, and then I forced her home and she still didn't do it. And then we started on the program. And then it was just pretty much go, go, go. And let's kind of talk about, you know, your daily routine, some of the phone calls we had, some of the conversations that went on between us.
All of them. And
We
she's
don't
lost
have to share
140
everyone.
pounds, guys, in 8 months. 140 in 8 months. 150 since April.
Yeah, but the reality of what someone may go through
Yeah.
when you lose that much weight, and I'm sure Ruby can attest to some of those up and down days. There are definitely up and down days. The days are not always up. In the beginning, you didn't have energy, and Angie was, I don't have the energy like everybody's talking about, unhappy people, and I just don't necessarily feel great. Like, well, how much did you just release last week? You know, and it could have been a 10 pound or 8 pounds, or maybe there were some weeks where she didn't lose anything. And was that a struggle for her emotionally? Absolutely. We had many phone calls about that. I'm plateauing. Did you plateau?
Yeah.
Well, not really.
No, no.
And the first 100 pounds, Angie, the first 100 pounds, she did not work out. And we're going to let her stop it here and tell her story. But it was after that she started training, and things got a little bit differently. So go ahead, tell us about your journey.
Well, when I say I tried everything, I really tried everything, and Stephanie's right. We actually tried a few crazy things together. I've done it all over 20 years. I had been overweight for almost 20 years. By the time I was 21, I was over 100 pounds overweight. I went through a lot of struggles in life, a lot of, not so happy moments. Had 3 babies, through all of that, I just gained and gained and gained. When I started this journey, I weighed in at 258 pounds. Not a single soul on this earth knew how much I weighed, except for me and the doctors I had to go see. What a lot of people didn't know, because I never told anyone, was all the medical things I had wrong with me. There were reasons why I couldn't work out. My knees were shot, my back is actually broken in 6 places, and I have a lot of different disabilities due to bones. I felt miserable. Physically, it was one thing, but emotionally was another. When you feel horrible about the way you look, it tears you up inside, and it shows on your outside. I had reached a happy place in my life. My life had completely changed about 8 years ago. I remarried a man that just lit my world up and changed my life, and every piece to the puzzle of life had come together, all but one, my weight. But when you've tried everything, you pretty much reach a point where you give up. And I looked around at my family, and literally everybody but like one cousin and one uncle was morbidly obese. Not just a few pounds overweight, but morbidly obese. So I actually spent a lot of time, and I had actually gave myself permission to be okay with the fact that I was obese, and that's how I would live my life. And this beautiful lady right here, she would not give up on me. She did spend months working on me, and when she says she forced the box at me, I mean, it was, lady, you're not leaving here without this.
Thank God.
So I started on it reluctantly, and pretty much the only reason I even started on it is because I wanted to prove to her that, just like everything else, there's no way this was going to work, just so I could shut her up, basically.
But you can't shut me up.
Yeah, basically that was my reason, but it started working, and I mean, it worked right off the bat. I guarantee you I was the most annoying person, because I called her on everything. Well, why is this happening? Why is that not happening? I didn't have all the energy in the beginning for the first few months, but I was losing weight at such a rapid pace that my body was exhausted because it was working nonstop to release the pounds. In under 6 months, I lost 100 pounds. In under 6 months.
Can you guys hear that in the back?
And that was without working out. I didn't work out whatsoever. Not that I'm advocating that, but for me, physically, I was incapable of doing that. It was about that time that light bulbs just started going off around me. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is real. So this became a thing to what started out as, oh, I hope I can lose some weight. This is about weight, to where it had nothing to do ever about releasing weight. It was about becoming healthy. And if you get healthy, naturally the weight just falls off. But I was able to not only change the people in my family's lives, but I've saved a few of them. And literally saved, my father being the main one. He's down 115 pounds. He just hit 6 months. This man went from not being able to get out of his recliner. He was out of breath, struggling. Stephanie had seen this with her own eyes, to where literally I cannot call over there and ever get a hold of my dad. He is just gone and, you know, going. And he had told me prior to this, he really did sit down and he told me he knew he was getting ready to die. And so just recently, I was able to get the talk of, all right, now I get it, you know. I get what this is all about. I'm living and loving life. And forever grateful. Sorry.
It's okay. So, I'll give you a second. So, during this time period, while he's going through all of that, he's, you know, if you can only imagine a man 400 pounds, hanging out in his recliner, watching TV, barely being able to do anything, not eating much during the day because he doesn't want to get any bigger. So he barely ate, so he was malnourished. Now he's doing phone calls.